there. Mandy Friedman here, licensed professional clinical counselor, clinically certified domestic violence counselor, clinically certified trauma professional level 2, and the creator of SNAP, Survivors of Narcissistic and Abusive Personalities. We're back talking about Succession, Season 2, Connor Roy, and I'm here with my brother, Andrew. Hi, Andrew.
Hey, Mandy. I'm so happy to be back and talk about Connor in Succession Season 2. He is an interesting character. He's very funny. And as the season goes on, it gets a little more serious with him.
It does. So for this episode, we're not going to have a lengthy episode. Connor emerges more as the series progresses. So we'll hear more about him the more he starts to emerge in seasons 3 and 4.
So as we start the season, we have an interesting power imbalance. Connor is dating a woman named Willa, who is a sex worker that is being paid to date him by him. But that's there's a power imbalance there, right?
There is. I think that often we look for, is there a payoff here for her? What is she getting out of this? Why is she with him? And it's because she wants to live that fancy life. You know, she wants to put on her play. She wants to get the bankroll on her side to do the things she wants to do. However, her status in the family is pretty low because of where she comes from. But Connor doesn't care. He wants to put her right on his arm. He doesn't give a shit what anybody thinks about it. And as someone who is pro-sex workers, I want to cheer Willa on in a way. That's a very feminist thing to do. However, to some degree, you kind of wonder, is her life really a good one at this point? And, you know, what is it that she's providing for Connor is basically a false relationship that he can manage, as opposed to him trying to have a real one with somebody that is with him just for him. Much like how you see Roman having his relationships, that they're really not actual, real, genuine relationships because he can't handle real, genuine relationships. I'm not going to say a whole lot more about this because Connor says a lot about it later on. He describes to us what it has been like to be him through the years, and we'll get to that in later episodes. But we just wanted to point out that his relationship with Willa is one that it does have a natural power imbalance because of the income differences and the status differences, that she is not able to really make her own money. She's going to need him at this point. If she decides to stick with him, it's going to be him paying her or providing her with some kind of a allowance. You know, how's this all going to work out? But we'll find out. We're going to find out more as things progress.
Connor's big thing that he does in this season is he announces that he's going to run for president. And he does that through a video. Tell me about this video, Mandy.
We see the video, and it's another great example of word salad. And Connor, again, is the best at word salad. So I'd like to just read to you what is stated in his video. He says, because he's every man. Right?
He's just like me.
Right. He's just like us. He says, I ranch, I ride, I earn, and I give, just like you. But ding dong, who's there? Uncle Sam. And where's his hands? In my pants. Okay. So he makes this video, and his family is seeing this is circulating, and they're embarrassed. It's embarrassing. It can also get you in trouble to say you're not going to pay taxes. But he told them that this is just beta testing before it goes on, and he Instagrams it and enters into the primary. He's claiming he's not going to pay taxes. They're not happy that he's doing this.
And this is his platform to run for presidency. Everyone hates paying taxes. Every single person. So guess what? I'm going to go for the lowest common denominator, the thing that we all agree with. This tells us that Connor is not the most grounded person, and maybe one of the least grounded people on Succession, believe it or not, in a cast of literally 1,000 people almost that are all completely head in the clouds. Another example of how Connor is not grounded is that he hyper decants his wine, Mandy. Are you doing that?
Yeah, he's having a glass of wine with somebody. I can't remember who it was, but he puts it in a blender and they're looking at him like, huh? And he's like, I hyper decant. Don't you hyper decant? Oh yeah, you have to hyper decant now. This is what we do now. Just, just very bizarre. You're right. He's not grounded. He's got delusions of grandeur. He lacks self-awareness. He really is in La La Land, and very bizarre and very awkward.
The main thing that we have going on, one of the main storylines going on this season, is the cruise line debacle and the accusations going on there involving a man named Mo. Mo happens to pass away during the season, and they go to his funeral, and some interesting things ensue.
Yeah, so this whole time you're hearing about Mo this, Mo that, Mo was in charge during that time and everyone's just calling this guy Mo. Well, Willa and Connor go to the funeral. None of the other family goes to the funeral, but they do. They go to pay their respects, and Willa is going through the reception line there, and she meets Mo's wife. And she says to him, "Oh, it's so nice to meet you. I know Mo was a wonderful person. I'm so sorry to hear that he passed away." And she goes, "Who's Mo?" And then quickly, Connor whisks her away and they have a conversation. And he's like, Mo's his nickname. That's not like his real name. She's like, "Oh, what's his real name?" He said, "It's Lester." Mo Lester? And he says, "Well, yeah, it was a different time and he was handsy and we weren't allowed to be in the pool with him. That's true. But, it was a different time." And they just sort of move on from there. Willa seems pretty uncomfortable with that, but, eventually she doesn't care because she wants what she wants. But yeah, so Mo is short for molester. This name that he's been called at work for years now, to the point that no one actually knows his real name, comes from the fact that he is a sex offender and a predator. So it's easy to pin a lot of things on him now that he's dead, but he gets to be the scapegoat, and it makes perfect sense since he is Mo Lester.
That moment is fascinating. Also, we know that Connor is at the funeral because he's trying to, get as many ConHeads as possible. Like these are people that could vote for him. Who are the ConHeads, Mandy? And are they helping him keep his feet on the ground?
You're right. Isn't this the moment where he hears that phrase for the first time? Is in the church, somebody comes up to him and is like, "Hey man, I saw your video. Don't worry, you got the ConHeads on your side." And he's like, "ConHeads? Oh, I like that, ConHeads." So now he realizes he has a following, and they're calling themselves the ConHeads.
Yeah, I feel like that I'm a conhead because throughout this whole season and show, I've been rooting for Connor the whole time. I really wanted him to succeed, and we'll see if he does. But we also have another storyline with Willa. She has written and is directing her own play. And, Connor is, of course, bankrolling this, but Willa's play reviews are in.
Yes. Now they're on the yacht at this time. And she's so excited, and they're sitting there getting ready to go through the reviews, and she hands the device to him, and she sits back and he goes, okay, just read me some of the good ones. And he's scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and he's like, "Well, no." And she's like, "What? It's that bad? There's nothing good at all?" And so she grabs it out of his hand, looks at it and goes, "Blah," and then just tosses it into the ocean. After she looks at it for 2 seconds. That's how bad the reviews were, is that she couldn't even for 1 second. Then a few minutes later, with a couple other people, I'm not sure, they're sitting down to eat, and somebody's like, "So Willa, how about the play?" She goes, "Fuck off." Like that. So she had her Logan moment right there. Just, she knows well enough what these people are and what they really mean when they're asking her, "So how's the play?" They know that she knows that they're just being, passive aggressive and asking her, when really they're trying to jab her and be like, "So how'd it go?" Yeah, but she says, "Fuck off." I was like, "Yeah, Will, you tell him."
Willa's play does not have good reviews, but at least it's inexpensive, right? It's not like it's costing a lot of money or anything. Turns out it's costing a lot of money, and Connor is getting a little low on funds. He has two major expenses going on. He's got Willa's play, and now he has the ConHeads to think about in his presidential campaign that he has announced. So he knows where he can find more money. There's one guy you ask your dad. So he asks Logan for more money. How does that go?
Connor is excited that he has this following of the ConHeads. He thinks that, this is really sort of like moving him forward in it and reaffirming that he definitely should do this. And so he goes to Logan to ask for money because he spent a lot of money on the campaign and Willa's play. And he asks Logan for $100 million.
A pittance.
Just pocket change, some $100 million. He's not even going to miss it. Logan reacts and says, maybe, but you have to quit your campaign just to financially indicate sound judgment and good intentions. In other words, if I'm going to give you this money, you have to quit your campaign. So there's a transactional relationships. I don't know if Connor is ready to part with a campaign quite yet, but the part that was difficult, I guess, for Connor is that Logan does get pretty nasty at him in this moment of saying exactly what we're all thinking, which was, it's a horseshit pipe dream. Everybody thinks you're a joke and you're a fucking embarrassment to me. Damn. I mean, that's one way to say no, but this is their family. This is how they interact.
It does give us a little sympathy for Connor as a character because he seems to be altruistic. He doesn't seem to have bad intentions. He's just looking out for himself, but when he's treated like this by Logan, it's kind of out of nowhere and kind of shocking. But Logan knows how to manipulate his kids, right? This is all part of it. And this is the, don't get too close and he bites you. So you got to go away. So what does Connor do? He comes up with a plan to get his father to like him and think that he's a serious person.
Exactly. The crew's crimes are still going on and they still need scapegoats and people to pin things on. And Connor offers himself up as a sacrifice and he pitches the narrative that actually he's been pulling the strings all along. He's trying to get into his dad's good graces. He needs the money and he would love to raise his creds with false rumor. So hold on, let me get this straight. Being a criminal, provable, like it's definitely happened kind of criminal. There's evidence and trials and witnesses and charges, and that makes people want to elect someone for president? Apparently so, according to Connor. That if Connor claims that he was pulling the strings the whole time in this deeply ingrained misogynistic, patriarchal, predatory culture, and that he's been pulling the strings and that's going to raise his credibility with his base, that they're going to like that about him and that's going to make him a better candidate for president. Have we heard this before?
He's
that
not
somebody
wrong.
Who's completely grandiose, a malignant narcissist, most likely a sociopath as well, who has many crimes that they've committed, and yet somehow they deserve to be president of the United States. I'm just racking my brain at where I've heard this before. Really strange. But apparently that's how it goes.
Yeah, well, like you said, Connor has the ConHeads to think about. He knows that they don't want him to pay his taxes, which is a fucking crime too. So this is another opportunity to do a crime or to be looked at as a criminal, but in a way that's like a white collar crime that is like easily waivable. You can waive it off if you are, someone who believes in the cult of personality that is Connor, Roy. It's always fun talking about Succession, and Connor doesn't get into it a whole bunch in season 2, but we're going to talk about a lot more that he does. But we want to leave everybody with a treat. And today, Connor has made for you a salad, and we present that to you now.
Hey, if you want to print something in your little book, you may print the following line. Connor Roy was interested in politics at a very young age.
I ranch, I ride, I earn, and I give, just like you. But ding dong, who's there? Uncle Sam. And where's his hand? In my pants.
I'll tell you what a nice church it is. Conroy was interested in politics from a very young age.
I'm here as a fellow human to acknowledge that Lester has, as we know, passed on. Lester was a man. Also, Lester was an employee of the Waystar Company for 40 years. And when a man dies, it is sad. All of us will die one day. In this case, it is Lester who has done so. Lester was alive for 78 years, but no more. Now he is dead. Lester's wife is Maria. They were married for 15 years. Now she is sad.
Conroy was interested in politics from a very young age. I hyper-decant. You don't hyper-decant? You're just doing regular decanting?
If by regular decanting you mean pouring it into my open mouth, yeah.
You should hyper-decant. It softens the tannins, heightens the aromas. You can age your wine 5 years and 10 seconds. Truly.
Connor, not many campaign posters use mugshots.
The world has changed, Shiv. The old shibboleths are crumbling. And you know what? The elites are scared. I can see them down there, scrabbling and reconfiguring, with no clue what the whirlwind they have stirred heralds. Connor Roy was interested in politics at a very young age.
Wasn't that fun? How delicious was that word salad? Isn't he the best at word salad? I love that. And there's more to come. More to come with Connor's word salad. Thank you for watching or listening. Goodbye.